Hello. Welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. We generally like to talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general, and in this video we're going to be talking about a cooperative area control war game. I suppose you could call it a war game. We're going to be talking about Spirit Island, and in this game you'll be taking the role of spirits. You'll be trying to fend off invaders by giving the indigenous inhabitants assistance with your special powers that will allow to kick their asses, kick them off the island and win the game. So in this video we'll be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like, then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Spirit Island is still worth your time and bother. Is it about 3 or 4 years old? I can't remember, and I don't care. So remember, if you are new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. Hit the like button, subscribe and all that bullshit, and we'll see you after this. Bollocks. So Spirit Island is a cooperative area control / war game. A lot of people say this ain't a war game, but because you'll be engaging in sort of semi-combat with an opponent, let's call it a war game, right? So the first thing you are going to do is you're going to choose a spirit. You'll take the corresponding spirit board and you'll populate it with all the discs and all that shit that you're going to have to stick on the board, right? Then you will make up an island dependent on how many players there are. Then you'll put the island together and you'll place the starting components, whether it's the little mushroom hut things on the board and some invaders and starting spirit counters, onto the main board. That will be the starting setup. There's also a board off to the side which contains fear tokens. These are used to instill fear, funny old thing, into the invaders. And there's a deck of cards that you'll be revealing that will help you out as you go through this deck. It will make it easier to win the game, yeah? So this game follows a set number of phases. The first phase in the game is the spirit phase, and this consists of 3 sub phases. You've got the grow phase. You'll be gaining energy, and then you'll play and pay for power cards. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grow, yeah? So you'll be choosing one of the options at the top of your player board. This might mean that you can put some discs onto the main board to indicate where your spirit has presence. It might mean that you could take some extra cards, or you might be able to gain energy, which is basically the currency of this game. And energy allows you to pay for the use of power cards that will allow you to wage war on those nasty invaders. So the next thing you'll do is you'll gain energy. This is basically where you're going to get paid. You'll look at the highest uncovered icon on your player board and you'll gain that much energy, and you'll put it to one side. So the next thing you're going to do, you're going to choose from your hand power cards to play. You have to pay the energy cost that's listed on the card, and you'll also see these cards are in 2 categories. You've got the fast power and you've got the slow power. The fast powers will act before the invader has their turn, and the slow powers will act after the invaders have torn shit up. So once you have completed the spirit phase, then you'll have the invader phase. This is where the invaders run amok and tear to shreds what you've just accomplished in the spirit phase. So the first thing you're going to do in this is you're going to do the blighted island phase. If the blight card has been flipped, this means that if all of the blight tokens have been removed from that card and placed on the board, then nasty stuff will happen. It's going to make the game a lot harder. So one of the things you want to do in this game, try and prevent different regions from becoming blighted. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to activate any of the fear cards that you have gained up to this point. You'll gain fear cards by moving fear tokens from one portion of the main board to the other. Once you've done that, you'll gain a fear card, place it in the space that allows you to activate it right now, and these are always really good, right? So the next thing that you're going to resolve is the invader actions. This can be ravage, it can be build, and it can be explore, and there's cards that will be revealed round by round. It'll tell you which locations will be ravaged, which ones will be built on, and which types of terrain the invaders will explore. So if there are invaders on that specific type of terrain, then they will deal a certain amount of damage. They'll either damage the land or they will damage the Dahan, which is the indigenous population of the island, right? Next thing they'll do is they're going to build. So if there are more towns than cities, you will build a city, and in all other cases then you'll build a town. You'll stick the specific miniature in that region, right? And then the invaders will choose to explore the island, and this is where new invaders come on board on like coastal regions. And then what you do, you'll advance the invader cards that way, right? Not that way, that way. So the next thing you can do is, once the invaders have dumped all over your property, then you'll be able to activate any of the really shitty slow powers. They're not actually that shitty. It's just that you've just got to hang about waiting for that bloke to knock your door with that massive lump of ganja. Know what I mean? And after that, you'll do a bit of cleanup, right? So there's other things you've got to be mindful of. There's elements in this game on the power cards and on your player board. There's little coloured symbols, and if you can meet the requirements of that ability that's listed on your player board, then you'll be able to activate that during the phase that is specified on your player board, right? And these could be quite handy. These give you extra actions to take aside from the power cards that you're going to be playing, right? So there's loads of other little nitty itty bitty things. You'll be able to destroy the invaders, kick them off the land. They'll be going backwards and forwards. Like I said, there's loads of little itty bitty rules in this, but that's the general idea, is that you'll be going backwards and forwards. The invaders will be trying to explore, build and ravage the land. You'll be trying to use your spirit's abilities to aid the Dahan in kicking them off the island. And essentially, if you have met the requirements of the main fear token, whether it's remove all of the invaders off the board. If you got to terror level 2 and there's no towns and cities on the board, then you win. If you get to terror level 3 and there's no cities on the board, then you win, right? That's how you win the game. But you can lose if there's too much blight on the board. If the last blight token comes off of the blight card, you are screwed. If one spirit is destroyed, which means they've got no presence on the board, then you lose. Or if you need to draw an invader card and there's none left, then you will lose the game of Spirit Island. But if you do all the other shit, then you win it. Got it? So what do we like about Spirit Island? So the first thing that we really like about this game is the insane amount of variety that is packed in this game. Okay, the core set does feel like it's half baked, right? It does feel as if the branch and claw expansion was deliberately kept out in order to make extra money. So the core set does feel a little bit lightweight, but having said that, if you've got all the extra stuff that's available for this, then the amount of variety is completely and utterly mind-boggling. I mean, I think there's like, is there 24 spirits or 18 spirits? I can't remember the exact number because there's promo spirits. The synergy between the spirits and the way they all meld together means that the bloke who created this, Eric Sain, tested this game till he went blue in the face. There's just an insane amount of different variables in this game. So you might choose the vital strength of the earth, and the special ability of this one is the earth's vitality, and it says that you can defend 3 in each land where you have a, can't remember what they're called now, like a temple type thing, where basically where you've got 2 presence tokens, right? And their innate powers, the ones that use the little glyph type things, they say once it's turned, the target spirit may repeat 1 power card with an energy cost of 1 or less, which is pretty good. But this geezer is quite cumbersome. He doesn't move around too much, but his defense attributes mean that he is tough as old boots, right? Or you might have the shadows flicker like flame. The special rules of this one gives you the shadows of the Dahan. It says whenever you use a power, you may pay 1 energy to target a land with Dahan, regardless of the power's range. Power cards, all your innate powers, and their innate powers are you get to gather 1 invader. So this means you could draw invaders towards you to either kick their ass or allow somebody else to kick their ass if they got a power card that allows them to do that, right? So there are a huge, massive number of these spirits. They're all different. There's a range of complexity to simple to highly complex, right? And really, I mean, I don't think I'm going to be alive long enough to go through all of these, even if I live to the ripe old age of 52. So the next thing that we like about this game, and we sort of alluded to this in the previous point, and this is the chaining of abilities together, whether it's your own powers or laying the groundwork for somebody else to do something really powerful, right? So these power cards are divided into major and minor powers. You might have the voracious growth. This is going to cost you 1 energy, and it allows you to choose either 2 damage or you can remove 1 blight, right? It's a good way of getting rid of blight, yeah? Or you might have the visions of fiery doom with this really scary face on it, and it allows you to gain 1 fear and push either an explorer or you could push a city or a town away, right? A couple of examples of major powers. You might have the unlock the gates of the deepest power. This has got like some sort of, I don't know, like it looks like that iron creature out of that Sinbad movie. It's going to cost you 4 energy, and it says target spirit gains a major power by drawing 2 and keeping 1 without having to forget the other power card. That's one of the things about this game, is that you get the option of forgetting cards in order to gain special abilities, right? You might have the Twisted Flowers Murmur Ultimatums. Well, it's a bit of a mouthful. It's like stuffing your mouth full of broccoli. This is going to cost you 5 energy. It allows you to add 4 fear, and it says if the terror level is 2 or higher, you get to remove 2 invaders, right? So these power cards are integral to the chances of you winning or losing this game. So the final thing that we really like about this game is that it's a fantastic solo experience, right? This doesn't quite match up with Major Knight. Still not my favourite solo game of all time, right? But it's close, right? The fact that if you're playing it on your own, you ain't got to worry about all the other people in the room means that you could just concentrate on what's in your hand. Don't have to worry about anything else. And also, if the game goes pear-shaped, you could just pack it away. You don't have to worry about anyone else thinking, no, let's carry on, let's see what happens, right? So when you get to that point where all is lost, you could just flip the table and nobody will know about it. So what don't we like about Spirit Island? Well, there's too much to mention, but we'll try our best to make it as concise as possible, right? So the first thing we don't like about Spirit Island is that you get swamped very, very quickly. And a lot of the times that we played this, we get to the point where everybody knows that the game is lost, right? But for some reason, just keep on playing and you're just playing out inevitable failure. And that's when the game falls flat. Everybody's enthusiasm for the game drops. It just feels like you're edging closer and closer to the cliff, and well, in fact, that you've actually fallen off the bloody cliff, right? And you're just cascading down, waiting to hit the floor. It's a very unforgiving game, and unlike games like Robinson Crusoe, you always feel that you've got a chance to beat the game. More often than not, reaches a point where you think, I'm done, and there's no way back, and that sucks. So the second thing, and probably the thing that fucks me off the most about this game, is that it doesn't work as a multiplayer experience, right? And I'll tell you the reason for this is because if you're playing with more than two players, it works with two, sort of, but any more than two players, you've got too many brains thinking about what they're going to be doing. And this game relies on chaining different powers together and activating powers at the right time. If you've got 4, 5, 6 people playing this game, if you've got multiple brains thinking about what they can do, then you're just going to get swamped in all these different ideas, trying to figure out what is going to work best when, who's got the best power card, trying to remember all the power cards, because remember, they're all text-based. You've got text to remember on the power cards, right? And it just feels like this bogs the game down. It disrupts the flow of the game. Whereas if you're playing solo or with two players, you've just got yourself or another person to bounce ideas off, and that seems to work better, right? So this doesn't work as a multiplayer experience. So the final thing, it's not the final thing, but it's the final thing we're going to talk about, because I don't want to bore you to death, right? You're probably enraged already. But the final thing that we don't like about this is that you've got to check each of the regions based on what cards come out of the invaded deck, right? This reminds me of Dominant Species, or Dominant Feces, as we like to call it. That game done my head right in, because you have to check for dominance on each of the bloody tiles, right? And this just brought back memories, brought back connotations of the mind-numbing sensation that I felt playing Dominant Species, because you've got to check each of the regions that the game tells you to. And when you get into the latter stages of the game, each of these regions is going to be swamped with invaders or presence tokens or the Dahan or whatever, and it's easy to lose track about which ones you've checked, right? You're going around thinking, did I check that one? And you're asking people, did I check it? And they're like, I don't know, can't remember. We'll check it again. Did I add something to that region? Don't know, can't remember. So it's too easy to get bogged down in checking, rechecking, checking, rechecking. And I hate that. I hate it. So to summarise, is Spirit Island worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we are going to say no. Not a very popular opinion, I bet. But we're going to say no, because it doesn't work as a multiplayer game in our experience. It's an area control game that has so much variety that it's probably got a little bit too much variety. I mean, the core set suffers from, say, not a distinct lack of variety, but it just feels as if they deliberately left out the Branch and Claw expansion with the beasts and all that sort of thing, deliberately, just to make a bit more extra money. Yeah, but this doesn't work as a multiplayer experience. In our opinion, it's best played as a solo game, and at a push a two-player game if you have to. Like I said, you probably do need to get at least the Branch and Claw expansion to feel the full force of this game. And if you have got the expansion and you are planning on batting one off on your own, then we really do recommend Spirit Island. But as this is a terrible multiplayer experience, if you're not going to be playing with yourself, so to speak, then we can't recommend Spirit Island, because it's just a headache-inducing mess of a game that tries to be more than the sum of its own parts, right? So there you go, Spirit Island. Remember, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel. Hit the like button, comment and all that bullshit, and we will see you in the next video.